first on Guam.
KUAM News, winner of the 2022 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Culture Club.
KUAM News headlines are presented by Calvo's Insurance, protecting Micronesia for 85 years. Matson, celebrating 25 years of commitment to Guam, Micronesia, and the CNMI. Cars Plus Finish Line Express is now open at Cars Plus in Mighty. The state-of-the-art car wash is now open 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Ahead on KUAM News Primetime.
A Chinese spy balloon that traveled by Guam had gathered intelligence from sensitive military sites and sent it back to China. An exclusive report as authorities investigate what info was collected.
Plus, many of you are sounding off on social media after proposed legislation that would cut out the red tape required to change the sex designation on birth certificates. I'm Matsuki Hariyama with a report.
And an update to the criminal case against a foster parent accused of molesting a child placed in his care. The development comes as some senators push for an oversight hearing to look into the foster care system. Hafa and good evening. Welcome to KUAM News Primetime. I'm Nick Delgado.
And I'm Destiny Cruz. Thanks so much for joining us.
Well, we begin tonight with that Chinese spy balloon that traveled by Guam before crossing the U.S. mainland 2 months ago. NBC News has exclusive new reporting that confirms that the balloon was able to gather intelligence from sensitive military sites and send it back to China.
NBC's Kelly O'Donnell has that story.
New insights about China's covert mission high above the U.S. in exclusive reporting from NBC News. The Chinese spy balloon that traveled across the country for several days was able to gather intelligence passing over sensitive American military sites before it was shot down in February on President Biden's order. That's according to 2 current and 1 former senior official. Among the new findings, China steered the balloon in a figure-8 pattern at times, detected from U.S. bases and weapon systems. The balloon had a remote self-destruct mechanism. Sources say it's unclear if that failed or China did not use it. The White House today.
It had a propeller, it had a rudder, it had the ability to speed up and slow down, turn. It had maneuverability.
Sources also told NBC News the balloon was able to send back intelligence to Beijing in real time.
As of right now, we're still doing an assessment of what exactly the intel was that China was able to gather.
China claims it was a commercial weather balloon.
Part of it is a test to see whether they can penetrate our airspace. Part of it is, frankly, collecting intelligence in real time.
Today, national security officials said the U.S. did take measures against the balloon that mitigated China's ability to collect sensitive U.S. data.
Meanwhile, just days after that balloon was shot down is when Governor Leon Guerrero revealed at a Senate oversight hearing on the territories that it had also flown over Guam.
That revelation piqued the interest of committee members at the time, and the governor also using the opportunity to pitch her plan for a new medical complex on Guam. Nestor Lecanto reports.
The exchange came during questioning by Republican Senator John Barrasso about increasing Chinese aggression in the Indo-Pacific.
Could you please speak and share with all of us the recent Chinese actions that concern you?
Absolutely. I think the geopolitical situation between China and the U.S. does concern our people. We are very fearful for what could happen if there is a conflict that would occur.
The governor noted that with the addition of Marine Corps Base Camp Blas, there are now 3 major military installations on the island.
The presence of that strength of military bases in Guam makes for a target for us. And if there's going to be any Chinese conflict, we feel that we would be the first line of attack, as we were also in Japan, by Japan in World War II. And so that is very concerning to us, Senator.
And then she mentioned the balloon.
We do know that there is more Chinese activity. The spy balloon that was shot down passed by Guam. And yes, passed by Guam. We had a briefing. from the military. So those are the things that do concern us. And of course, what are we doing to prepare? The military is now going to set up a military defense system in Guam. In fact, I think Admiral Hill is there now as we are speaking. And all this activity to fortify and strengthen military preparedness for national security concerns our people, again, because it does influence, I think, the attack.
Admiral John Hill is the head of the Missile Defense Agency. He admitted in an article today in The Economist that they're playing catch-up with Guam's missile defense, and the Pentagon is seeking $1.8 billion in the fiscal 2024 budget to close the gap. Meanwhile, the governor used the opportunity to explain what she said was the pressing need for a new medical complex.
And I'm very urgent to find the financing and the grant to build our hospital. The military naval hospital is there, but their bed capacity right now is 39. And certainly if there is any situation where they are attacked, they would rely on us as the civilians to help back up that military situation. I just want to say that Guam and the military are working very closely together, Senator, to provide for the national security of our nation and more specifically for our people. So any help from the federal government is, I think, an investment in the nation's security.
Nestor Lecanto, KUAM News.
Thanks, Ness. Well, male or female, it's the options given and placed on your birth certificate identifying your sex at birth. Still, that designation remains a constant struggle in the fight for equality here and across the globe.
But what if you could simply request to change the sex of your birth certificate legally and without the required surgery? That's what one senator is pushing for with legislation introduced the same day the world celebrated International Transgender Day of Visibility. Mitsuki Hirayama speaks with one transgender rights advocate who explains why this proposal is so important.
Her name is Wilhelmina Diosa Duenas.
At this point in my life, and I've been living as a trans woman for close to 20 years. I started my transition at a very young age. And just recently I had top surgery, and something as little as that makes a huge difference in our everyday life.
Her breast augmentation surgery was a major step, but the little thing that she says would make an even greater impact is having the right to legally change the sex designation on her birth certificate to match her true identity.
If we're able to change our gender markers on our documents, it all starts with our birth certificate, because without that, we cannot change our driver's licenses, our passports, anything that requires us to basically have our identity on any documentation.
It's a slight change, she says, can make a big difference when it comes to doing everyday little things like traveling.
If you look like this and then your documentation doesn't match, sometimes it does make it difficult to pass through TSA, or even something as simple as going to the bank and cashing a check, or even going to the doctor's office.
On Guam, the law only allows for transgender individuals to change the designation on their birth certificates only after undergoing transitional surgery.
Somebody had asked, and it really touched me because this person, this means something to this person.
It's why Senator Will Parkinson recently introduced Bill 86, which would allow individuals over the age of 18 to change the legal sex designation on their birth certificates without the red tape of going under the knife. The senator saying the constituent explained to him they have a family member suffering from severe depression, adding they blame the existing law.
It matters a great deal, a lot for them. I can't begin to understand the personal motivations of identity that drive them. And I don't need to completely understand it. I just need to see that this is important to them. And even if I don't completely understand it, I'm going to be supportive of them.
Every transgender person is different. And for it to be required for you to have that surgery in order to change that marker, it's kind of unrealistic.
A reality, though, for 13 states and Guam, who to this day require proof of sex reassignment surgery in order to make the gender marker change, according to the Movement Advance Project. The proposal sparking quite the debate locally.
I get it. Everybody's allowed to have an opinion, and that's completely fine. But I think if you're going to have an opinion about something that has no direct effect on you, then educate yourself.
Education to bring the island territory a step closer towards equality for all and making people, no matter how they identify, feel comfortable in their skin. Matsuki Hirayama, KUAM News.
Well, many of you are sounding off on this story on KUAM News' Instagram. More than 350 and growing comments in less than 24 hours. Let's take a look at some of them.
Trex 925 writing, the purpose of the birth certificate is to contain information about a person that was biologically confirmed at the time of their birth. If it is legally acceptable to have a certificate with information that was not provided at birth, then is it really a birth certificate?
Tom.Moss says, we are all for transgender and so on, but that's going too far. Really, people change their minds all the time. You'll regret it. Now you guys just be doing anything these days instead of fixing real issues that truly concern us.
Chris X. Calvo says, so does this mean boys can identify as girls and get out of the selective service?
Small._.boyo says, to all the transphobes and TERFs in the comments, this has nothing to do with pedophilia. This is about giving people the opportunity to live their life comfortably. Do you know the suicide rate of transgender people? 86% have thought about it and 40% have attempted.
Big Mama Books writing, to all the bigots in the comments, we have trans elders on Guam. We have beloved community members who would benefit from this legislation. If this bill doesn't apply to you in any way, why would you try to prevent it from benefiting those it does apply to? This bill doesn't have anything to do with your life, but it does positively impact someone else's.
Another user commenting, I'm so happy there are more avenues for inclusion. You can view more or chime in now. Just check out Bill 86 at KUAM News on IG.
Well, a foster parent accused of sexually molesting a boy placed in his care is indicted in a Superior Court of Guam by a grand jury.
The indictment handed down against 32-year-old Ryan Cruz, charging him twice with first-degree criminal sexual conduct and 6 counts of second-degree criminal sexual conduct. He is scheduled to answer on the charges on April 26. As we reported, the 12-year-old boy, who was placed in the defendant's foster care back in February 13, allegedly told police he woke up every day for 10 days to find Cruz allegedly sexually molesting him. Authorities are investigating how Cruz was approved to be a foster parent after having been arrested on similar charges just last August.
We've got more news in a moment, plus you can catch us and all your favorite shows streaming right now on Peacock.
Watch us exclusively on the local channel now on Peacock by visiting peacocktv.com/local. We've got that QR code for you on your screen just as well. Keep it here to KUAM.
Watch KUAM TV 8 live on Peacock. Check out our live channel, NBC shows, live sports original programming, movies, plus so much more. Visit peacocktv.com/.
The wait is over, Guam. The all-new state-of-the-art car wash is now open at Cars Plus. Introducing Finish Line Express, open 7 days a week. The largest car wash on island that can accommodate vehicles such as lifted Jeeps and full-size pickup trucks. Just roll up, pick a wash, insert credit card, or show your EverWash app and roll through. Plus, power vacuums are available to clean the interior. Show your vehicle some love today at the all-new car wash at Cars Plus in Mighty. Open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 days a week.
Here with this experience today, I mean, top notch.
It helps you in the long run.
Make sure that you're always checking your health. It's not only yourself that you're checking yourself. Actually, you need to check each other, and then at the same time, if you have the right facility to go to, please go to the medical city.
Mizuru tweets, confession, I really like Jack in the Box Tiny Tacos. My crunchy tiny tacos with creamy avocado lime sauce? There's a lot to like. I have a confession too. One time, I've been advised to stop talking. Tiny tacos, get them regular or loaded.
Welcome back to Primetime. It was supposed to be a real-life lesson on farm to table, And now Saipan school kids are learning about crime after all 20 of their chickens in the coop they made at Hopwood Middle School were stolen.
Regional correspondent Tomas Manglotnia first interviewed them in February, and now their teacher is speaking out after the incident.
I know that we did a previous story on it, and the day before it aired, that night, the 13 got stolen.
That KUAM story aired on February 23, and since that first incident, the middle school kids' chicken coop at Hopwood Middle School on Saipan was struck 2 more times.
They were very, very heartbroken, and for the most part, you know, it's one of those things that they just keep asking why. Why would someone, you know, first of all, break into a school to steal their work?
And now all 20 chickens, which were raised by his students as part of the agriculture class, are gone.
We do have information as to who the culprits were, but again, because they're minors, it's still under investigation. I don't really want to get into it. That's up to DPS right now. They have all the information that we have.
They're still waiting to hear back from the police, and students are in a hurry to start over.
Before we can do that, we have to make sure that we reinforce our chicken coop area, make sure that there's lighting, cameras, sensor detectors, all kinds of stuff right now. We're basically going to turn our chicken coop into Fort Knox.
But another issue is the school's fence line, which hasn't been repaired since Super Typhoon U2 struck in 2018, leaving the campus and students exposed near a busy beach.
I'm not too sure as to why it's taking such a long time to rebuild the fence. This is a security issue for our students during school time and after school hours.
KUAM has reached out to the Commissioner of the Public School System, Dr. Alfred Ada, for comment. Meanwhile, Guerrero, who's been a teacher for nearly 2 decades, says he's hoping to restart in time for the next school year with summer just months away. Tomas Manglotnia, KUAM News, Saipan.
Well, a local organization is looking for the descendants of the families who lived in the Anderson South area in northern Guam after ancestral remains were found at a construction site.
Julian Hernandez has the story.
During construction in the Anderson South areas from Mokfok Derero to the Jigo Fire Station, Chamorro ancestral remains were found. The Guam State Historic Preservation Office reached out to Adahi'i Manautauta Mona to help look for the descendants of families who used to live in these parts of the villages. The organization did the same procedure during a similar project at the Hagatnya Bridge. Archaeologist Dietrich John Duhailon Sod.
Our role is to find descendants of the families connected to the area and let them have their voices heard regarding this. We're trying to do the right thing in putting our ancestors to rest and making sure families are included who used to live there. And if the elders are gone, of course, in most cases, then their descendants should be recognized as being of that place and allowed to be there.
Duhailon Sod says having the descendants be aware of the remains and have a say on the reinterment could be a part of the healing process of the past.
That doesn't mean that they are okay with whatever happened, and that doesn't mean that I am okay with it, or anyone else. But we just are trying to help put them to rest. Maybe they took the land, maybe they weren't fairly compensated, my elders, but at least in this day and age, 2023, they're recognizing that that's our place, and they're allowing us to be a part of this discussion.
The effort to find the descendants will continue for the next month. Just email aimmadahi@gmail.com. Julian Hernandez, KUAM News.
Thanks, Julian. Well, it's never too early to learn how to cook up a meal. 7 future kids chefs from the Guam Department of Education showing off their skills at the Sodexo reInvent School Lunch Cook-Off today.
These 4th and 5th graders were among those selected out of 150 recipes submitted by their peers. They took to the kitchen at Jose Rios Middle, where they whipped up some delicious spam goulash, Japanese curry, snow pasta, and even shepherd's pie. Right? Each competing for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd for prizes tailored to their cooking interests. The event including special guest judges like Senator Chris Barnett and members of the Guam Education Board. Let's hear from Renee Saruda, leader of Sodexo Guam, and 5th grade competitor Shayangi Forha.
So either something they like at lunch that they thought they could improve on, but this is a chance for kids who maybe have talents elsewhere, talents in the kitchen, to really demonstrate, hey, this is something I'm good at.
So this is our spam goulash. We have some ingredients, and we have spam, tomato sauce, corn, and we have some little bit scoop of rice, and then we added carrots and onions.
Congrats to 5th grader Elena Cruz, who took home first place for her meatloaf. You see right there. I'm hungry already. 4th grader Quinsley King taking 2nd place for that snow pasta. And 5th grader Averin Rages for that delicious shepherd's pie.
All right, and now for a look at your world at home. Here's a view captured of a beautiful sunset along the beach at the West Inn in Tumon.
Plus, you can listen to more music right now on Isla Digital Radio. Just head on over to KUAM.com.
Antes de hanau sangani joni rason Pasea by puti lo comprendi On sangani ju todo pues una diosu Después pulai zumu.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
Only Pizza Hut lets you surround your favorite pizza with greatness. The one and only stuffed crust pizza tempts your taste buds with melted cheese stuffed inside that amazing crust. And at just $18.99 with one topping, the stuffed crust pizza is truly irresistible. So grab your slice of pizza perfection with cheesy goodness baked right into the crust. The stuffed crust pizza, just $18.99 with one topping. Only at Pizza Hut, the island's best.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Okay, ladies, I gotta say, Special Olympics, we helped out last weekend. That was an absolutely amazing experience. And we have so much footage that each one of us shot. I mean, you know, we volunteered, we helped out, we laughed, we cried. You guys all high-fived these amazing, and they're Olympians forever. Real quick, what did it mean to you?
It meant a lot just to see everybody participate and come together as a community. It was really rewarding to just see everybody participate. It was really beautiful.
Okay, Matsuki, you gave out so many medals and you made a lot of new friends.
It was definitely very heartwarming. I think my favorite moment is when this little girl came up to me and she was just like with open arms and then a lot of hugs. It was very heartwarming.
I unfortunately wasn't able to go because I was working, but I have been to the Special Olympics before. It's actually one of my favorite times to go every year, and I'm so sad that I got to miss it, but I was seeing the footage and I was there in spirit and I was just wishing to be there and seeing the athletes, just giving their best shot and really like giving their all, and that's in every sport.
Absolutely.
And I'm just seeing their faces and just, I'm gonna tear up now because like I said, I really love going to them because I really get to see that them feeling being part of something and just really giving it their all, something that they've worked so hard for.
And you know what? That's genuine, and that's what it's all about, because our team was absolutely honored to be part of the Special Olympics team, and we have so much footage that all of us shot.
There was so much. I felt like I was there myself.
Well, we're going to show you what it was like for Team KUAM to be part of Special Olympics 2023.
Wrestling gold today. Taking gold here today. And there you have it, your medalist for the R100 Group D. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah! All right.
Little girl came up to me and she was just like with open arms and then a lot of hugs.
Make some noise for David Newton!
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa. You can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Mickey D's McCrispy. Formerly known as the Crispy Chicken Sandwich, now has some respect on his name. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Real talk. The Spicy Crispy Chicken Sandwich should have been named Spicy McCrispy from jump. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Giving Every Tuesday is brought to you by J. Goodman, a happiness company.
Hafa day, everyone. My name is Guerrero Calvo. I'm a senior at George Washington High School and a Giving Tuesday Spark ambassador. Welcome to the second rotation of our Giving Tuesday Spark stories. For this week, we have Vanessa Jade Santos, a senior at Simon Sanchez High School, to spread awareness and share some inspirational stories on the variety of scholarships that people on Guam may apply to. To you, Vanessa.
Hafa day, everyone. It's Vanessa Jade Santos, your Giving Tuesday Spark ambassador.
As many, including myself, come to end senior year met with a choice. A huge decision on what to do with the rest of our lives. However, sometimes we aren't able to go through with what we want due to various constraints. In many cases, that's money and having to pay for college. So, as a Spark ambassador, I am here to give you the knowledge on scholarships. Why are scholarships and grants beneficial to student graduates heading to college?
Scholarship and grants are beneficial for families who did not get the full scholarship or the Pell Grant. Some of them who actually get the full Pell Grant probably did not get enough because the tuition is higher, so that will help supplement the student needs from the family. And also, it's something that you don't have to pay for. It's a free money.
What scholarships and grants have you applied for?
I applied to the Questbridge National College Match, and although I wasn't matched to a school, I was accepted to these schools' regular decision, and I was still able to get a very good financial aid package.
I am a Questbridge National College match recipient. I got matched to Bowdoin College, which is a liberal arts college located in the state of Maine. Beginning within the summer of my junior year is when I really started to look into opportunities and applying for scholarships. I really looked for a lot of opportunities that offered a lot of financial aid, and of course that opportunity was Questbridge.
Where were you able to find scholarships and grants?
I applied to many scholarships using websites like CapEx and Scholarship Hub.
Counselors usually just have an Instagram page where they would post a lot of opportunities such as scholarships, internships, grants, and so that's mainly one of the most up-to-date ways that I would get notified of a lot of local scholarships and grants. National level would be FastWeb or otherwise bold.org.
What is your advice to people applying for scholarships and grants?
My advice for students would be to never give up and don't let rejections bring you down.
So the advice that I would give to students who are looking into applying for scholarships and grants is definitely to pay attention or put a lot of your focus into the writing supplementals. When you come across applying to scholarships and grants, you're definitely gonna be tasked with writing a supplement essay, or otherwise, in that case, other scholarships also offer like video supplements. And supplements are basically just ways that the organization can get to know you as a person. The skill of writing is definitely really useful to take advantage of when you're applying to a lot of big scholarships. Present yourself in a way that you believe that is true to you, and definitely just have courage.
2 scholarships that are currently being offered are Cortec Foundation Scholarship, due on the 14th of April 2023, and Modagino Scholarship, due on the 20th of May 2023. Scholarships and grants greatly help with relieving tuition fees, gives opportunities to enter prestigious colleges, and gives students the ability to expand their capabilities. If you haven't started the search for scholarships, what are you waiting for?
Thank you so much for the very insightful and inspirational story. I encourage and recommend that everyone applies to as many scholarships as possible, regardless of if they think they can make it or not. Anything is possible. Once again, my name is Inheritoy Calvo. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night and dream big.
Giving Every Tuesday is brought to you by J. Goodman, a happiness company.
All right, thanks to our Spark Ambassadors. Good job with that report there. It's time now for some birthday wishes.
Here's your Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club shout-out submitted on KUAM.com.
Tuesday, and happy birthday to many of you. And if today is your birthday, we wish you the very best, especially Jesus E. Cundiff. Happy birthday, Dad, Gramps, and Great Gramps. Your family is sending you all of their love. And Mr. Sus, we wish you the very best birthday ever. Jenica Padilla Remelik, happy birthday to our beautiful and wonderful daughter and sissy, Jenica. God's blessings upon you today and always, all our love, and we miss you every day. Say Dad, Mom, brothers, and your sister, and your Guam familia. Happy birthday number 2323, hey, Michael Jordan's number, to Justin Jesse Sanagasin. Happy birthday, blessings, Justin Jesse. Love the whole familia. Heart emoji, too. They made sure I said that. Keiko Borja, happy birthday to you, and please enjoy your day. You are made wild. Love from, they say, well, everyone. And they also want to make sure I add this, mwah. They said that, M-U-A-H, exclamation point. Mwah. All right. Bernie, happy birthday month, Bernie. All month, that's right. That's how we do it. The beauty of Bernie's Bar. Time to celebrate the amazing woman that you are from your recycle bin babes. Love, love, love you, Bernie. And KUM's own Vic Falan, Mr. Victorious, Mr. Saturday Night, Mr. One Micronesia Show. You know him, you love him. Happy birthday to our Mr. Everything here at KUAM. In Harmon, Vic is the man. You are celebrating the big 34. Enjoy your birthday celebrations, Vic, from your entire KUM family and much more all across the region. Vic, we hope you have a great day, man. And belated birthday wishes going out to Juan Jose Tyron. Happy birthday number 20 to my son, Juan Jose. We hope all of you have amazing birthdays today.
And that's going to do it for us here on Primetime. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Nick Delgado.
And I'm Destiny Cruz. Stay safe and have a great night.
KUAM News Hotspot is brought to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Hello, hello, hello. We are KUAM and this is the Hotspot. Man, thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much. Or, you know, thank you. We really, really appreciate it. That's we're already having fun here. You know, look with your eyes and not your mouth, as my grandmother used to say way, way back. All right, this is what's on the menu. This is actually what's on the script. So we're going to stick to the script at least for the next like 30 seconds. Here is what we are tracking for you today with our health, home, and lifestyle. In Health Check, we're going to take a look at how those who are suffering from long-term COVID are getting back their senses of taste and smell. I had COVID last November. We're going to take a look at that. We'll also have another dose of Weekly Renewal with our friend Clara Calvo. She is going to talk about Easter. We'll also add House to Home with Liz and Gina talking about a new policy that affects how you build facilities for residential or commercial properties and how that affects energy compliance. And is it going to be sunny for spring break? I know all the public school kids are saying yes, please. Well, we have some news about the waves that you are really going to want to listen to. They're dangerous waters for the rest of the week. So stay tuned because Brandon is coming up later on in the show. But first, for Health Check, as we were talking about, long COVID is something that many people have struggled with after they overcome the effects of coronavirus. So here is today's Health Check report letting you know about long COVID.
Health Check is presented to you by the Medical City.
Jennifer Henderson wouldn't normally cry over a cup of coffee.
I can smell it. Is it strong? Yeah.
But she hadn't smelled one in nearly 2 years.
It smells like coffee.
After a COVID infection in January 2021, Jennifer Henderson never got her smell or taste back.
You couldn't smell or taste anything?
Nothing. And then after about a year, it wasn't that I couldn't smell or taste anything. Now the taste was off. It was terrible.
Food she once loved tasted disgusting.
Chicken. I couldn't eat chicken.
What did it taste like?
It tasted like rotten flesh.
Jennifer grew depressed. Meals were unbearable.
It's hard to get through each day.
And then a Facebook group with nearly 50,000 people with similar complaints led her to Dr. Christine Shin at the Cleveland Clinic.
It was incredible that something simple as the stellate ganglion block could produce this type of result.
The stellate ganglion is a nerve bundle in the neck. Numbing it has been used for a century to help regulate some pain and circulation. So doctors tried the procedure on long COVID patients.
We have seen quite a good response, but there are also patients who don't respond. And we're still in that phase where we're trying to figure out who it's going to help.
Doctors still don't know exactly why it works to restore taste and smell. But Shin estimates it helps about 50% of patients. Shin plans to start the first clinical trials for its use in treating long COVID soon. But in the meantime is offering the procedure to patients like Jennifer, now getting her third round, a quick injection into her neck. Within minutes, Jennifer tries something she hasn't tasted in years, watermelon.
You can taste it. Yes. Oh, wow.
Dr. Shin says some patients see instant relief, others get senses back over time, and some nothing at all. It's unclear if improvements are permanent, and insurance coverage also varies by plan.
Oh, God.
But for Jennifer,
you're my hero. Give me my life.
the results couldn't be sweeter. Kristen Dahlgren, NBC News, Cleveland.
Health Check is presented to you by the Medical City.
All right, here's our good friend Claire Calvo with this week's installment of Weekly Renewal.
Weekly Renewal is brought to you by Calvo Select Care.
Half a day, I'm Clara Calvo bringing you your weekly renewal. It's April, and for many that is springtime, at least in the northern hemisphere. And for those of you who celebrate Easter or even Passover, Ramadan, many other religions of faith around the world, this is also a time to recognize renewal, new life. Whether it is in nature, coming out of the death of winter into the rebirth of spring, or even in our faith. This week specifically is Holy Week for Catholics and many Christians, a solemn time of deep reflection, meditation, and a celebration on the death and resurrection, and an overall reflection in our own lives. Synergy Studios, we just wrapped up a 3-week mind-body reset, which called for the abstinence from any animal products and byproducts. So we were plant-based for the entire 3 weeks. And on the 3rd week was a liquid fast. We've been doing this for many years, but this is something that we try to align with the spring season. I can certainly understand why fasting is also practiced by many world religions. There's, aside from the devotional aspect, there is a clarity of thought and a calmness of mind while fasting. And you could definitely feel that aspect of the spiritual practice and process. So when we think of health and wellness, we usually think of the physical well-being, right? Or even mental, emotional well-being. Yet rarely do we consider the spiritual well-being. We tend to separate our faith and religious beliefs and practices and the practicing of our overall health and wellness. However, we're not just physical, emotional beings. We are also spiritual and even electromagnetic beings. And when there is a disturbance or discord or dis-ease, being the lack of ease, anywhere in the totality of our being, it affects all other aspects of who we are and how we're made up. Religious practices have been associated with healing and health overall for millennia. People often pray for good health and relief from illness. Even NIH, the National Institute of Health, conducted a triple-blind study, among other research studies out there, which concluded that prayer may result in health and healing through one or more of several mechanisms, and they went on to describe several mechanisms. Dr. Rosmarin, professor of psychology at Harvard Medical School and director of the Spirituality and Mental Health Program at McLean Hospital, says that the research that has been done on prayer shows to have similar benefits to that of meditation. So the calming of the nervous system, the shutting down of fight or flight responses. So basically moving from sympathetic nervous system to parasympathetic nervous system, being less reactive to negative emotions and the like. Meditation is shown to thicken the prefrontal cortex. This brain center manages the higher brain function like increased awareness, concentration, and decision making. So the changes in the brain show with meditation, higher order functions become stronger while the lower order brain activities decrease. In 2005, there was a study of the Journal on Behavioral Medicine. Researchers showed greater decreases in anxiety and stress and more positive mood with meditation beginners. The control group also tolerated pain almost twice as long when asked to put their hand in an ice water bath. So this may seem like a bit of a dichotomy, right? Where science is based on proving theories and religion is largely based on faith. However, spontaneous remission, for instance, is a word given to pretty much any unexplained healing. And we're seeing more and more of that recently. As well, it helps to note the difference between curing and healing. To cure is to eliminate a physical ailment or illness, which can of course return in different ways or very well the same way, whereas to heal is to become whole, to repair and align the mind-body-spirit connection. So that whatever happens on the physical plane, with the physical level, is met with ease and grace, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. I will see you next time on your weekly renewal. Have a happy Easter.
Weekly Renewal is brought to you by Calvo Select Care.
Thank you so much, Claire. Happy spring to you and all your colleagues down there at Synergy Studios. Congratulations again, celebrating a milestone this year. Good to see. Former classmate of mine doing good things in the world of business. All right, other colleagues of mine, Liz and Gina, are coming up after the break, and we get 5 good minutes with the ladies, and we have a special guest today for House to Home. We are talking about building codes when the hotspot returns.
I've always had a love for anything local. Ever since I was a child visiting my grandma's lace shop, I felt a deep connection to the local shopkeepers, local artisans, and local farmers who make Hawaii so unique and so special. Today, I'm grateful to have a job helping Bank of Hawaii and its employees give back to our local communities. I'm Momiya Kimsu from Bank of Hawaii, and I'm proud to help you live your happy.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
House to Home, presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
Okay, so in my capacity right now, I'll be speaking as the chairman for the Guam Building Code Council. So the Guam Building Code Council was formed a few years back because of the transition from the building codes, from the Uniform Building Code to the International Building Code. So what happened was that there was several codes in the United States, and they all had different things that they were doing. So they decided as states and territories to combine everything in one international building code, and that's what we followed. So because of the code change, and our laws were references that had to change. And let me just give you a little brief history. There was a Guam Building Energy Code back in that was implemented around year 2000. Based on a study by the U.S. Department of Energy for Guam and American Samoa. And it was enforced for roughly about 10 years by DPW until 2009, when the ICC, or the International Code Conference, came in and the codes came into effect. Then in 2009, there was a Model Tropical Energy Code that was again funded for Guam, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, and the sea, which unfortunately was never implemented. So some laws were passed to, there was a public law 30-199 that mandated the Guam Building Code Council be created and an energy code for Guam adopted. So what we did, the council was formed. I wasn't initially on the council, but then there was two key members that were really the driving force behind this, which is Brent Weesey, who was the previous chair, and Mr. Bill Miller, who is a mechanical and fire protection engineer. So they modified this 2009 Model Tropical Energy Code, and then came up with the what is now the adopted Guam Tropical Energy Code, which became effective this year, 1/23/23. It was the public law actually passed 2 years ago, and it gave consumers and engineers and a chance to let things settle down, and then finally adopt it 2 years later, or enforce it after two years later after adopting it. Okay. The purpose of the code is to provide minimum design requirements to achieve energy efficient buildings constructed in Guam. We all know that we have some big power demands here on the island, particularly because of our cooling requirements. It's so hot on Guam. And the less energy we use, or the more energy we save, the less demands on the government just to keep improving and expanding and building new infrastructure to support, the energy usage. So it's a wise thing to do. If you save energy, your power bills go down. Your water bills could potentially go down. So that's the whole premise of it, right? It's supposed to, work so that it'll benefit to the people of Guam, and also help our government and our taxpayers, so we don't have to fork out so much. So let me talk about what it impacts and who it impacts. So first I'll speak about who's not impacted by this, or what's not impacted by this. So registered historical buildings are not impacted by it. And these are, stuff on the National Registry. So we got some old structures out there. 50 years old that have a historical significance, they aren't affected by it. Temporary structures are not affected by it. Temporary structures are defined as a structure that's only up for about 6 months. Then you got to take it down. You see these temporary buildings around here for like construction and stuff. Single family residences in architectural, one family dwelling zones with less than 1,200 square feet of building are exempt from the envelope and the AC requirements. So smaller type of
Tom, excuse me, so if you're building a house currently, but it's less than 1,200 square feet, you don't have to worry about meeting this particular code.
Yes, that's correct.
And I've got a question, if I might, Tom, because if you and Liz and Gina and I have talked about like the topic of doing what we as Guamanians so often do here is you build like an extension maybe, or like in the States they say like a casita. Would you have to retroactively apply these new energy things if in fact like now the square footage of your home expanded?
We had actually addressed that. So alterations less than 400 square feet in area do not need to comply.
Okay. So they measure it by the extension.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
Is over, Guam. The all-new state-of-the-art car wash is now open at Cars Plus. Introducing Finish Line Express, open 7 days a week. The all-new cashless drive-through car wash is also the largest car wash on island that can accommodate vehicles such as lifted Jeeps and full-size pickup trucks. Just roll up, pick a wash, insert credit card, or show your EverWash app and roll through. Plus, power vacuums are available to clean the interior. Show your vehicle some love today at the all-new car wash at Cars Plus in Mighty. Open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 days a week.
Your work week weather forecast means we check in with our friends at the National Weather Service who have all of the answers to all of our questions about what Mother Nature may have in store for us. Brandon Idlet is here, the older of the two twins. Happy day, man. Good to see you again. It's been a while.
Happy day. Yes, it's been a while. Been off island doing some traveling and some training, but it is definitely good to be back on Guam, enjoying this heat and humidity that just is not present across the U.S. right now.
There you go. Well, this is apparently something you brought back with you was something that I know all of us should be concerned with, which are a number of swells, which I saw there was an advisory that got put out this morning, and it said it's going to last until the end of the week.
That's right. So we do have some changes in store for the Marianas moving into tonight and the next couple of days. But I want to toss it over to one of my coworkers, Mike Ziobro, one of our lead forecasters, who will kind of give the top down with the forecast. He worked the night shift, and so he is going to be the freshest with the latest forecast. So let me turn it over to Mike, and I'm going to switch the camera around. And here we go.
There's Mike. Hey, Mike. Good morning, man. So you had eyes on this all night. So what are you seeing and what are you projecting?
Well, there's like a large storm system to our north, and there's very strong winds up there, gale force, and that's pushing swells into the local area. It's up north of us, and those winds and stuff will stay up there, but the swells will enter the area starting tonight. And then we're looking at this is the current conditions, only 4 to 5 foot seas, but then tonight they increase very rapidly and up to 10 to 12 feet by Wednesday night over the area. And that's the sea heights. And then the swell coming in is going to produce hazardous surf starting tonight at Tinian and Saipan of 7 to 9 feet on north and west facing reefs. And that'll increase to 10 to 12 feet by Wednesday morning.
Whoa.
For Guam and Rota, that's going to come in tomorrow morning, and it'll be like 9 to 11 feet on north and west facing reefs. And that'll stay until about Friday. It might taper off a little bit before then, but it'll still be hazardous. And then by Friday night, we're expecting it to go down below hazardous levels. And then we have, the seas will be up too, up to like we were showing there, 10 to 12 feet. So that's small craft advisory criteria, and then the winds are going to pick up, and we're looking at maybe 10 to 20, 20, 25 knots Thursday, Wednesday and Thursday, maybe gusting to 30 knots on Thursday over the coastal water. So it's going to be hazardous out in the ocean there. Although, the showers will taper off. We'll only have isolated showers. It's the most big concern is the ocean effects.
Okay, so what do we anticipate? Obviously, that there is a public safety concern for this, Mike. People that go out, reef walking or reef fishing, or people that try and do, like a little bit of scuba. We want to tell them to stay out of the water. I'm assuming, right? Because it is expected to get like kind of not only very, very quite dangerous, but also very, very quickly.
Yeah, very quickly. Like it's going to ramp up. Like Brandon was saying, that this one looks like one of those ones, a sharp increase, not a gradual, and then there'd be dangerous rip currents, and maybe with the moon approaching there at full, you might have a higher tide than usual, so maybe some minor coastal inundation. So that's possible along some of those areas.
Mm-hmm. Now, Mikey, you used terminology earlier when you gave your breakdown and everything at the beginning. This is fascinating, by the way. We really appreciate it as always. You used the term gale force. That's something that's very rarely spoken of in this part of the world. But when you use that phrase and everything, how concerned should we be not only for our own island, but for neighboring countries, neighboring territories, and people like within this part of the world?
Well, that's it's usually, I guess you would translate it as what would be tropical storm force winds, but in a non-tropical nature. But these are staying over the ocean, so at this time, we're not expecting anything to impact any of the islands or territories in our forecast area. So it's just producing those swells and surf. Maybe later on, Yap and Palau, because they're in that fetch area, would get some of the effects too. So those areas in the from Guam and the Marianas down to that hot part of Western Micronesia might see some of the sea effects, but the winds will not be here.
Okay, well, Mike, and I know you've like basically pulled an all-nighter as per your shift and everything, but we really appreciate the insight. By the way, I'm so jealous of the number of monitors you have to look at. I mean, my cousin's a hedge fund manager and he works on the stock market. He doesn't have that many terminals to look at and everything. So like, I'm green with envy right now.
Yeah, well, we could always add another one, I guess.
No, there you go. You can never have too many monitors. And speaking of monitor, Brandon, let me pivot back to you, because you always talk about monitoring the surf levels, and given the fact that these waves are going to come very, very fast and get relatively high, you always talk about rip currents and how unbelievably dangerous they can be. How also how difficult it is to come back in. But what would you say to people who are trying to take advantage of like the larger waves? This is something they really need to pay attention to.
That's right. So we see these currents across